Alright, welcome back. It's been a while. We have been busy, but I just don't have time to put any videos out. So today we're going to go back to February, a couple of months ago, and see what was happening then. As you can see, it's not the nicest of days here today. It's a bit windy, it's a bit rainy. Start of February 2024. And here today because we're continuing the beat up. So that's where we're replacing trees that have died over the last year with new trees in the woodland which is planted. So I'm on like one of the higher parts here, so it's a bit more exposed in general, as you can probably tell. And we're here in the mainly a conifer area here. So because it's a bit more exposed here, we've had a bit more limited choice on what species we can plant. So we're planting Norway spruce and Noble Fir predominantly here. So these are hopefully trees which can weather the kind of the not so nice conditions. We've also got a bit of Sitka spruce in here as well, which we're using as a nurse. So hang on a moment, let me just clean the screen. Yeah, so we also got some Sitka spruce in here, and that's we're using that as a nurse. So hopefully that will establish a bit more quickly, and then we'll cut that out hopefully in like 15 years time. But if maybe, let's say, the Noble Fir doesn't grow or something, or another species doesn't take off, then that we'd keep the Sitka as a backup, really. We've also got we have got some patches of Douglas fir and western red cedar, partly as a test, but also in places where we think it might be okay. So longer term, these are species we would probably grow on this site, but while it's exposed, they're probably going to struggle to kind of really get going. Yeah, in terms of Sitka spruce, so Sitka spruce is like the most widely planted tree in Scotland and Britain for producing timber. But we kind of want to try and do something a bit different, which is why we haven't really gone for that. You can manage that under continuous cover forestry, but like I said, there are plenty of Sitka spruce forests out there already, and it's not as though we're like against Sitka spruce, but obviously we do want a diverse forest and we want many different types of trees, and there are plenty of other trees which we can grow good timber with as well. So part of the task for today is actually finding trees. So the grass, as you probably know if you've been watching the series, has gone a bit wild, and in some places we can't really see the trees, and that's particularly the Noble Fir, which are quite small and have kind of been covered. The spruces are they're generally okay because they're a bit more, they've been a bit taller, they've grown a bit better in the last year. Noble Fir is a tree which can take quite a long time to grow. So I was doing some data the other day which says after like 5 years it can still only be 1 meter tall, like on average, which is not very high, but it is to a degree shade tolerant. So hopefully, even though it's in this mixture with the spruces, it should still hopefully grow. We probably will have to spend a bit more time on it and potentially cut some of the trees out around where the Noble Fir is to give it a little bit more space, but that's for a few years time. At the moment though, it has struggled a bit more. We have got a high death rate in the Noble Fir, potentially up to half of them have died, and that's hard to know whether that's been because they've been covered in grass, they haven't liked those conditions, or whether there's something else, some other reason that they kind of died. In some places though, they have grown quite well. They're looking quite healthy and quite strong. So let's go and have a look and see what we can find. Right, so this is a pretty good example. We've got some spruces here. I think this is probably Norway spruce. Can be harder to tell when they're smaller. And as you can see here, the grass is kind of growing around it, but it's kind of pushed its way through. I mean, the spruces are we're known for being a bit more, don't really mind too much. And you can see here, so what we're doing here is I just at least kind of pushing the grass back a bit. As you can see here, the lower stems here have died, and that's, I guess, partly to do with being covered in grass. The other thing is to say we actually, so further down, as you may remember, so further down in the garden field where we had to put the new vol guards on, right, but we're here. Yeah, so further down where we had to put the new vol guards on, because we're getting those vol attacks in the last video, Actually, we did that like 2 months ago now, kind of moved the grass back and freed, especially the Douglas fir, which is quite small, and it seems to have grown. So even though it's been winter, the Douglas fir there seems to have grown over the winter. So it just shows you the benefit to a degree of conifers. You know, they'll grow even throughout the year. But obviously, potentially there, you know, they've been kind of constrained by the grass. We've released them, they've had that kind of energy built up, and then they've grown. So yeah, that's good news. Okay, so this is kind of a classic scenario. So here we've actually got a tree. I can just about see it. I can see on the screen if I zoom in a bit. So it's been covered by grass. So I'm just gonna move the grass out of the way here. And yeah, this is a Noble Fir. This one's looking kind of okay. I'd say it's kind of not really healthy, but still, I think it should be all right. You can see here, like the branches nearer to the ground have died off. Not so probably because of the light levels, but it's put on some growth here. And so yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear around it. And let's just go now quick look at this one. So this is another Noble Fir, even healthier, this one. So this is like, yeah, this is like one of the best ones. It's still only, what, 20 centimeters high, but at least it's yeah, hopefully this tree will grow into a massive mature tree and produce good timber at some point in the future. Okay, so this is a Noble Fir which is kind of looking not so great, and you can see this got a bit of green here on the needles, but it's a side branch. The main leader, the main stem, is kind of dead, and a lot of these other ones, the needles are just coming off my hands. So kind of interesting, what will happen to this tree? Will it survive? Will it just kind of start growing sideways along this one? Will it send up a new leader? Who knows? We have to kind of wait and see. And it's kind of like, do we plant another tree alongside this because it's probably not going to do so well? Should we leave it, come back next year? So yeah, these are the decisions we're making when we're planting. I guess on this one, I'm kind of tempted to leave it as it has. There's a bit of greenery here, and see what happens. Right, so I'm planting a tree to replace this dead Noble Fir. I've got no Noble Fir left, but I've got some Douglas Fir. This is maybe not the ideal position. We're a little bit higher up than I would like to plant Douglas Fir, but these are the only trees I've got left now. So we'll see how this gets on. To start with here though, these are broadleaf weeds as we described them. So they would compete with the tree. These are probably buttercups, I think, but don't quote me on that. And yeah, if we just left this now and planted the tree, those plants would just like swamp the tree before they had a chance to get away. So I'm going to cut these out, dig a hole, and put the tree in. Okay, so these trees are cell grown, so they've got a little kind of ball of soil on the bottom. So generally trees come either like this or they come bare rooted. There's advantages, disadvantages to both types. The advantage of this type is they're a bit more kind of durable, so there's not quite so much of a rush to put them in the ground or keep them in like bags. So you keep bare root in bags to stop them drying out. But these ones are, yeah, a bit more durable, so we weren't so much in a rush to plant them if we didn't have time. So I'm just going to heel this in. I'm just covering all the compost which the tree was in with earth around. That just keeps it in a better position. Just checking it's kind of straight. Can be quite vigorous with the kind of not too brittle. So yeah, that should be good. It's in the middle of the mound, as we call it. There's not really a mound, of course, but it's in the middle of the planting circle. And yeah, hopefully we can come back in a few years and we'll just be a big tree. Yeah, so in this top field we haven't had so much of a problem with voles, so there is a little bit of damage. I am carrying a few vole guards with me. Now I see some damage, I'll put them on the tree just to kind of hope it doesn't get any more eaten. But generally it seems to be okay. I mean, I'm actually just thinking then, I could actually hear them every so often, the voles squeaking to each other when I'm coming along. I'm just kind of wondering if that's what I can hear just now. So they're here, but whether there's just more food here or for some reason they're just not going for these types of conifers so much, who knows. but we're definitely going to be keeping our eye on things. Yeah, sorry, probably should buy a better microphone rather than being subjected to this wind noise, but that's something I should really get around to doing. Alright, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying following along, and I'll catch you in the next video.